Hey dancers! Today we're going to have a moment with Miss Jessica about Petit Allegro. Most of us love to jump, right? I have so many comments from you guys about how much you love to jump in class. So I wanted to put together a combination or a challenge for you using 5 common Petit Allegro steps, learning how we can transition our weight efficiently between each step to change our direction, and then also different variations you can do to make them more advanced. So the 5 steps we're really going to talk about are going to be glissade, jete, ensemble, pas de chat, and changement. Now, that doesn't seem like they'd be that difficult, but once you start adding in variations, like instead of just a glissade derrière, you can do a glissade devant, which starts in the front and stays in the front. You can do a jete devant instead of a jete derrière. You can add a battu on your jetés or on your ensembles. So, granted, there is a whole slew of more advanced steps out there in the world of ballet, but when we get these down really well, there's so much that can be done with them. So let's do it. Let's get into our jumps, and first we're going to warm up. Make sure you've done some pliés and some tendus, and make sure your feet are really well. I really encourage, if you haven't done a bar yet, go back and watch our classical bar for our intermediate advanced ballet, okay? And then we'll get started on our jumps. So now that you should be a little warmed up, hopefully, and we are going to talk first about a glissade. When we glissade in ballet, we've already been working on glisses, hopefully at the bar, and a glissade is just a continuation of that in Allegro and center. So it's barely off the floor, slight hover, push in the air in second at the same time. For most combinations, we'll take our arms to first today, and sometimes it will be third in the direction of travel, sometimes it's first. For simplicity today, let's just keep all of our glissades with our arms in first position, nice and long through the back, making sure that our shoulders aren't rounding forward, or that we're not breaking our sternum in the rib cage here and opening too far back, right in the middle, and that's so hard to find. You're working so hard on it, and I'm proud of you. So we're going to start with that glissade derrière. Now we're going to begin in a plié as it's a jump. Glissé, push, glissé, close. Both heels have to get on the ground between every Petit Allegro jump. Essential. If you don't get your heels on the ground, you don't have the strength to push. And you always want your weight right in the middle every time you land. That's tip number 2. So heels down, then make sure you get in the middle. If you are only on one foot, you're going to have a hard time if you need to go that direction. Say if I just went this way, and if I need to go to the front foot, yes, I do need to be on that back leg, but if I don't push off of both feet, I'm going to struggle. Now, some of these rules change when you get to way more advanced jumps, pushing just off of one leg. Now, we're not there yet, so just make sure you transition into the middle, and that's going to help you. Now, glissades, we're talking about derrière, starts in the back, stays in the back for the closure. You can have a glissade changé, and it can start from the front, a glissade devant. You can have them basically in any direction. They can go forward, en avant, décoté, derrière, or en avant, en arrière. All the directions that you could take a balancé, you can glissade. You can make them running glissades, like little leaps. But for the intents and purposes of this video, we're staying with the petite, or Petit Allegro. Now, we're going to move into a jete. What does jete mean? To throw. So we throw, say if it's a jete derrière, it's going to start from the back leg, throw to a battement jete. As we push up off of our supporting leg straight up, we'll pull our working leg underneath us, landing in a posé, like a passé derrière. So it's not a full retiré passé. It's just, that classical ballet position, right? So the top of the calf, because it's a jete. We don't want to be all the way to the knee, and we're definitely not to the ankle because it is not petite or petit jete. That would be just to the ankle. Right now, as a full jete, under you, bring it up to about 45. Then we can have that The arms, we'll just keep those in first as well. They can be demi-bras. They can be a lot of places. They can go to open fourth. That's more ensemble. So we'll just keep them in first for right now for this too. And so we're going to brush up and now push up and pull in at the same time. Up and in. Now we're here. The problem turns into though, okay, all of these steps are supposed to begin with a brush. My foot's in this pointed position back here. How in the world am I ever going to brush that foot before my next Petit Allegro step? Oh, I know, front base. That's why we do them at the bar, guys. That flex to stretch right here. You may not, in the process of this, get your whole foot down. That's the goal. But if you don't, you are still stretching the floor to brush, because that's reaching past your hamster ball, guys, even more. For those of you who don't know the hamster ball thing, that's got to be a whole other thing for another day. Okay, so but push through that floor. Get that resistance. It's going to strengthen your feet. It's going to strengthen your jumps. It's also going to give you that look that you want in the air, right? It's going to push and hover. Don't T-Rex your arms like me. Please don't do that. It's bad. Now, with our jetés, we've talked about a jeté derrière. You can also have a jeté devant. It's going to brush from the front foot. Same as before, we're pushing straight up into the air and pulling our brushing working leg underneath us, and it will pull to the front. Just the same as if it was to the back, but it's devant, so everything's from the working leg in the front to finishing in the front. That's a great way to mix up your Petit Allegro combinations. You can end up throwing jeté derrière, so té, coupe, jeté devant. So many things you can do with that. We're going to skip ahead just a little bit though, since we've kind of worked on that in class. We're going to go into the next step, which is an ensemble. We've done petit ensemble for years for some of you girls, where you assemble together, little together, right? So ensemble tells us that we are bringing something together. What are you bringing together? Your legs, that's right. Now we'll begin our assemblés, and we'll take our arms to an oblique or open fourth, opposition, because it's opposite our front leg, but it'll be the same leg as the working leg coming over, yeah? So our assemblés, to begin with, may assemble on the ground in third or fifth position. As you advance as a dancer though, I would really love to see you assemble as high up in the air as possible before you lower. And that means you have to control your landing, because if you assemble and you land all like wonky, it's not going to give you the right push off you need for the next step. Because if you're supposed to be bringing something together, if they're not together, you're going to have a really hard time going where you need to next. So think about that. Think about each step and what they mean. Glissade, glide. Jeté, throw. Assemble, assemble, bring together. Right? When we know what the steps mean, it helps us know our intention when we travel and when we put them together. Okay? Another reason why your vocabulary is so important, dancers. Okay? So assemblés, we talked about that. We can assemble over, which would be bringing the back foot to the front. We can also assemble under. Okay, that's a lot harder for most people. Boy, howdy, assemble bas two under about kills me. Or over. Under is actually a little bit easier because you beat then close. Oh, but over, you have to go, but duh. No. I just don't like it. I'd rather brise. Anyway, so just make sure that you know that your assemblés can assemble either over, bringing the working leg in the front, or under, bringing the working leg to the back. Yeah? All right, 2 more steps. These ones are so much simpler, and that's kind of why I save them for the end. They're stuff that you already know and love. Next, we have our pas de chat, step of the cat, that's right. So we're going to keep our arms in third position for right now. traveling to the right with our right foot derriere. I'm going to say, unless it's a stylized choreographer preference, 9 times out of 10, or most of the time, your pas de chas will always come from the back foot. Can it come from the front? Yeah. It's just not going to happen often. So just know when you're doing your combinations in reverse, if I'm doing the combination, I'm probably going to set it with the back foot is going to lead the pas de chas. If you choreograph your own, you can choose to change it. Just know that pas de chas typically don't change. Don't get that crazy with it. Some of you are very inventive, and I love it. But that's where we start branching into contemporary instead of classical ballet. So have fun with it. Just know that's working outside of the realm of classical a smidge. All right, so we have our pas de chat, and that means our back leg is going to come up to the front of our knee, to that retire position, and then while in the air, while we're jumping, switching, closing front. Going faster, it should look more like that instead of, yeah, I shouldn't see it be like chunk, chunk. All of these steps are to be done as smoothly as possible. We don't ever want to see, that's just going to detract from your loveliness as a dancer, something tells me. So it's much nicer if you hover and bring together, pas de chat together, yeah, everything's smooth and flowing. Okay, and then the last small Petit Allegro step that we're going to really talk about today is a changement. We do these frequently in class, so changement, to change your feet. So you can spring them out. I don't like that as much. I prefer a leaner line. Everybody's allowed to have different preferences. That's the beautiful thing about dance. Now you can change these into something a little bit harder called a changement battu or a royale by adding a beat. Now that would just simply mean my calves are going to pulse together in the air, and my back calf is actually going to pull into my front leg before I change in the air. It's very subtle. It shouldn't be this big, huge honkin'. You'll bruise your ankle bones. They like to hit if you're not careful. So be careful when you do battus. Higher up on the leg you think, the better it's going to be. But we're going to talk about that more in another video, or hopefully soon back in class together. And then we also have to be able to have a good utilization of a coupe. Now coupes just mean to cut. That's a transfer of weight and a shifting of direction. Okay, so we have to be able to coupe in these types of combinations, because if I were to say jete derrière towards the left, and I'd want to assemble, I'd coupe under, rush, assemble. Does that make sense? That coupe is an important thing, and while I could have included that in steps of the Petit Allegro combinations, while it is a step, it's done in so many different variations that I figured we would just, it's in conjunction more than a step. Alright, so let's talk about our first combination. We are going to have a glissade derrière, assemble over, rush, assemble, 2 changements, arms coming to bras. Changement, changement. Hey, look at that, we're ready for second side. Glissade, assemble over, changement, changement. Head to the front foot on the changements. Give it that like super classical moment. Yeah, totally rock that out. So glissade, assemble, head to that working arm. Changement, changement, glissade, assemble, changement, changement. Now this is a simple combination. It is fast. It is so fast, but focus on clean landings. Focus on your nice, neat push-off. I'll demonstrate it till I get a little too far close to the camera, and then I'll take a breather, but see how long you can hang in there for. Did you make it? All right, this one's going to be a bit tricky. We are going to have a jete derrière. Saute, so we're on this leg, just jump up on it. Saute. Now we're going to go from this position back through the foot to another jete. Fully stretched foot, fully stretched leg, pulling up and underneath you. So land with more plie and saute. Now from this position, our leg is already up. Be mindful that your knee is not pitching in and we're not losing our lower back, ladies. Long through that body in that plie and fondu. Push up to 2 pas de chas. Pas de chat, pas de chat. Pas de chat, pas de chat. Coupe, brush, assemblée. Second side. Jete, ton levé, jete, ton levé. Pas de chat, coupe, assemblée. Yeah? Let's try that with music. Now, I do want to bring up, try that last combination reversed. Right foot in the front. Jeté devant, ton levé sauté. Jeté devant, ton levé sauté. Still pas de chat to the right. Pas de chat, coupe, brush that left leg, but don't assemblée under, assemblée over. Keep it, close it where it was. Now you take that left foot, jeté, ton levé. Pas de chat, coupe, assemblée. So you would just make sure you just keep, bring that right leg back in front. Anyway, I'm all out of breath because I was jumping, and this is a hard floor. Anyway, a couple things I just want to remind you technically. Make sure that you're really getting the outsides of your feet on the floor for your push-up too. Lift it through the hips in your fondu and plie, long through the spine, everywhere it intersects with every other part of your body. I know we've talked about that so much. And I just can't wait to see how much better you guys are getting working on all this at home. Anyway, I miss you terribly in class. And for anybody else who's not part of our little world that this is helping, I'm glad that at least you got to come to our class and be a part of this, even if it was just this way. Take good care, guys. Stretch, eat well. Don't let it get to you. Try really hard. We're all in this together. Miss you. Bye.